What? No, we're live. Hello and welcome to the Science Fiction Double Feature podcast year in review for the year 2016. We're both in the same country. This is my co-host Terry. Say hello, Terry.
Hello, Terry.
Yes, we're both in Australia at the moment because I've come over for my Christmas visit and just got some email. That's not interesting.
It was a message from the big giant head.
It was a message from the big giant head, but they had nothing useful to say. So instead of reading my emails, we're going to talk about the year in movies and what we liked and what we didn't like and so forth on this. It's what are we between Golden Globes and Oscars, so I'm sure it's relevant to something.
The Oscar noms just came out today,
and
so it will help.
Okay. It'll help you decide, Academy people, what we at Science Fiction Double Feature think. While you're studiously putting your votes together, I'm sure you should pay attention. All right, so let's do that. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, let's do the worst movie of 2016.
Okay, I'm curious if we're going to pick the same thing, because you know what I've written, because I read it ages ago, but I got no idea what you're picking. Okay, so...
so you go first.
Okay, it's Suicide Squad. It was hard to pick this year. There were three clangers, I think. From Warner Brothers, it turns out. Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is just kind of a dud. Of those three, I think Fantastic Beasts still had more goodwill than the others. It's a bit of a mess in terms of character development. It's kind of just 2 hours or so of weird performances, trying to be excited about CGI, and then they murder a teen. But Suicide Squad, I guess, of the two DC movies that we've seen, it was the most boring. Like, Batman v Superman is kind of a mess, but it's an interesting mess. Suicide Squad, and this doesn't seem to get mentioned that often, but nothing really happens. It's kind of seen as this glorious disaster of the year, and it's kind of interesting, but it's just boring. Nothing happens. It's just tedious rewrites and bad jokes and fake character development, and that's the end of the movie.
And some good dancing.
I keep doing that. I haven't done it in a while, but I kept doing Cara Delevingne's amazing dance in the kitchen to point at things in the kitchen. It was fantastic.
Well, I'm not going to say that's the worst movie. It is one of my biggest disappointments of the year. But it's not, I don't think it's the worst movie. My worst movies are probably two you didn't watch. One was Allegiance, the final thing for the Divergent series.
Yeah, I gave up on the Divergent series after the second one.
Yeah, it's so trashy and not good, and I don't think anyone in the cast wants to be there. No one seemed to be giving a shit what was happening, especially Miles Teller and Kate Winslet. They didn't give a hoot.
Is Kate Winslet in the third one?
I think so.
She got shot in the head at the end of the second one.
Well, I don't know. They're all blending together now.
It's pretty much, yeah.
It was the start of the year when I watched it. I remember it was terrible, though, but it ended up on the bottom of the list. And the other one I thought that was absolutely woeful was Rob Zombie's 31. That was an attempt at good torture porn movie, but it wasn't. I didn't finish it. I think it's the only movie this year I turned off just because of how crap it was. The story was bogus. The acting was absolutely obscene.
Obscene?
It was obscene. It was like they just got people off the street, never acted a day before in their life, said, read this out loud, and put on a weird face when you do it. And there you go. So they're my two worst movies of the year. Suicide Squad, I will agree that it was really bad. It was my most disappointing one because I was looking forward to it so much. The trailers were fantastic. I loved the trailers for it. I was really looking forward to seeing how this would play out. Hopefully it was going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy type thing, but it didn't end up like that at all. And Fantastic Beasts, I agree, total dud, bored me to death, wasted my time.
Yeah, it kind of got good reviews, generally speaking. And
I sat there going, because I didn't see it opening weekend. I really had not much interest to see it at all. And there were some guys at work said, yeah, it's really good. It was a really good time. So I went and saw it, and I was bored out of my mind nearly the entire bit. The human in it, Jacob, he was the what they're not called muggles, are they? They're called
Nomads.
Nomads.
God, what
That's
terrible
terrible,
English.
man. I read a thing saying, what if they came to Australia? Would they
Muggos.
be like Muggos?
Muggos.
Muggo, that was the best. So I really like to see an Australian one. We see the Muggos.
Go after the werewolf of Woo Woo.
But we've got another 4 of those Fantastic Beasts movies to come.
Yeah, I wonder if...
And it did get rather positive reviews, generally. It made a lot of money. So they're going to keep making them. They're not going to, give it the kick. So they will keep making them, and I don't know if I can go see it anymore.
I wonder if they'll keep going, because we have kind of reached a point where there's been a few franchises that have petered out, but in terms of the ones that have been announced to have a set number of movies, like Twilight and The Hunger Games, is the Divergent series is the first sort of set franchise to kind of end prematurely. So it'll be interesting to see whether they can sustain the Fantastic Beasts, or whatever it's going to be called, whatever this series, because they're kind of done with Beasts now. Now it's Wizard Fights. Whether they will be able to sustain it for the next 4 movies. Harry Potter is very popular, but I don't know if anyone will care. Probably will.
Probably ended up a bit like with The Hobbit. The third Hobbit, no one really, I think, was that interested in seeing. I think they pretty much, we just saw it just to round it off.
For completeness sake, yeah, but I don't know if you can sustain that for another 4 movies.
Yeah,
1 or 2,
4.
you can.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, whether they wrap up the what is this? The Harry Potter prequels, I guess you have to call them. Whether they wrap up the Harry Potter prequels early.
Oh,
okay.
All right.
So that was the worst movie.
That was the worst movies.
Should we talk about Batman? Where was Batman v Superman on your list of?
Around the center. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either.
Such a fascinating mess.
It's just come onto Netflix, and I put it on again the other day, and there are bits in it that I like. Like Batman I like Ben Affleck's Batman, even if he did get nominated for the Razzie for it. And I did like it, and I like how gruff he was, and that he did kill people. He's dragging that.
That's awful. That's not what Batman does.
Well, he does this time.
No.
So I'll see if I can.
Did you like when he was like, "I got to get into shape," so he decided to
throw some tires around,
hit tires with a sledgehammer?
They had it coming.
Damn tires! You've killed my parents' tires.
On my list, it came in at number 80 out of 180.
Okay, so it's in the first half, top half. Okay.
It's in the top half, but I wouldn't go around.
So boring.
Okay, so disappointed movies. Things you were looking forward to that just didn't end up the way you were hoping. What do you got? 2
here that I guess we should mention. High Rise. High Rise is a movie from a director whose name I've forgotten. And we'll look at briefly while I make noise. It's an adaptation of a J.G. Ballard novel that had a whole bunch of people in the cast, including Luke, what's his name? Luke Evans. Luke Evans and Tom Hiddleston. I thought it was going to be Snowpiercer, but up, because I quite liked Snowpiercer. And I thought it was going to look really good. In practice, it was just long and boring and kind of a bunch of just set pieces that really didn't achieve anything.
Ben Wheatley,
that's the guy. He's got another movie coming out that looks good, starring a whole bunch of people, including Brie Larson and Vickers van der Moovra. I forget that guy's name. Sharlto Copley. That looked good, and I still want to see that. But on the strength of High Rise, it kind of is just some stuff that goes on for too long with like the most basic dystopian story that you've ever seen behind it. And people were laughing when I saw it at the film festival. It's not supposed to be funny, but there were moments in it that were so ridiculous that people found it funny. So that was disappointing. And in addition to that, War Dogs, which I thought was going to be great, is just kind of a perfunctory story. Felt very glossed over. It did feel as if it's based on a true story about some war profiteers during the Iraq War, but it felt like it was glossed over and kind of told fairly a perfunctory story about one of the guys, really. Not that good. So yeah, those were the biggest disappointments.
I didn't mind War Dogs that much. I liked the chemistry that they kind of had with each other. Miles Teller and was it Jonah Hill?
Jonah Hill.
Yeah, I kind of like the way they played off each other and the ending, how Death gets screwed over. So I kind of liked it. I wouldn't say I don't think it would have been worth mentioning in any category. It sits right in there in the middle somewhere for me.
Yeah.
My other disappointment of the year, besides Suicide Squad, was Blair Witch.
Yeah.
We got this really cool marketing for the Woods movie, and it looked really creepy. And you watch the trailers, and it kind of just gave you chills in that. And it came out at one of the film festivals. I don't remember which one.
I thought it was Comic-Con that it got announced.
No, was it It was Comic-Con. They had a screening at Comic-Con, and all these people went in to see the Woods. And then at the end of it, everything changed into Blair Witch. Like all the signage and marketing and everything changed into Blair Witch.
So people saw the movie, and then so people went in
thinking they were seeing the Woods.
Yeah.
But when you're in there, it's quite clearly a Blair Witch.
Oh,
sequel.
okay. So
when you're watching it, it's very clear it's a Blair Witch sequel. But yeah, so while they were in there, all the marketing got changed, all the signage, everything else got changed while they were in there. And that's when we found out it was actually a Blair Witch sequel, which got me a bit excited. I did like the first Blair Witch movie. The other two, I don't think I ever saw 2 and 3, if there was a third one. I definitely didn't see the second one. But I went in there thinking, okay, this is going to be good. But the problem was, it was the exact same movie as the first one. It hit all the same beats. It did everything the same, and it was just tiring and pointless at the end of it. So I was very disappointed that it didn't fulfill my expectations.
Oh,
yes.
I didn't see it. I had stuff on.
I didn't think you'd really be wanting to
It would
see
be interesting to know. I don't know. Did you see it at the cinema?
I did.
I don't even know if it came out in New Zealand. I can't remember. It probably did, but I just missed it. I don't know. All right.
Surprise.
Biggest surprise was a children's film called Storks. Storks looked terrible. It looked like a silly, also-ran kids movie with an interesting cast, but kind of a dumb movie about storks. If you don't know it, because it wasn't really a big release, I guess. Andy Samberg plays a stork who's in line to become the boss stork, taking over from Kelsey Grammer at a time when storks have stopped delivering babies and now deliver packages. And through a series of events, he has to deliver the one last baby, and sort of in secret, so he can still be the boss at the end, along with Tulip, who is an orphan who was an undelivered baby, who has grown up with the storks. So they go on some wacky adventures. It's really fun. It's funny without being cheap. It's not, if you're watching the trailers for The Boss Baby, where Alec Baldwin's baby character is saying cookies are for closers, and you're like, it's a Glenn Ross reference, good work movie. This isn't that. It's not got cheap pop culture. It's not got cheap physical comedy. It's genuinely funny. It's not a Pixar movie in the sense that it's a big profound thing that adult audiences will find amazing, but it's a proper story, and it's got proper jokes and proper characters, and it's really fun and really good, and you should see it. I might as well mention as well, I wasn't expecting much from Ghostbusters. It was so much fun. Ghostbusters was really, really fun, much more fun than I expected it to be. It had good jokes. I liked Kate McKinnon, introduced me to Kate McKinnon, who I hadn't seen before, because we don't get SNL here. She's a force of nature. Oh my God. Those were probably my 2 biggest surprises.
Ghostbusters sits for me right between Fantastic Beasts and Allegiance.
Ghostbusters was great. It had good jokes. It had jokes.
No, I missed it at the cinema, but I did. I rented it on iTunes when it came on VOD, and no, it was
jokes.
Terrible.
Jokes.
The best part of it was all the cameos and the throwbacks to the original.
I did like.
movies.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I liked Sigourney Weaver at the end. Time has passed. We can say surprise Sigourney Weaver at the end, which is fun. Where she turns into be a mad scientist who is Kate McKinnon's mentor. That was real good.
Yeah. See, that's the bits I enjoyed. But for what Ghostbusters was itself, it did absolutely nothing for me.
But they busted so many ghosts. They busted several ghosts.
I did like the CGI, like the actual look of the ghost. It felt very not at the museum. What was the other one? The one with Eddie Murphy in it. The Haunted House?
The Haunted Mansion?
The Haunted Mansion.
I never saw that.
Yeah, it felt very similar to that, and I kind of liked it. It was cheesy, but they were kind of fun. But for the overall part of Ghostbusters, it was just not for me.
No, it's fine.
The most surprising for me was Don't Breathe, a horror movie that came out with Stephen Lang in it. He's blind, and these kids try to rob him because
that movie, yeah.
got cash in his safe in the house. So these kids think it's going to be an easy heist. But what they don't know, he's ex-Marine or something, and he does some karate choppy moves on them and stuff. The trailers look good, but I wasn't expecting it to be so good. Like, this made my top 15. It was really, really good. You get Stephen Lang there, who you watch him and you would believe he doesn't have sight, just because every movement he does just tries to enhance another part of his senses so he can find the kids in the house and beat the crap out of them, and has got a fantastic twist in it. This story moves along. You think you were just a generic thing that, okay, they've turned the tables, the blind guy's going to get the upper hand here. And then they throw this big twist in, which I'm not going to say because it is really good. And it gets creepy, and it just makes your skin crawl a little. And that's what I like about horrors. I like how they try and keep it fresh, and you get that sensation just by watching the movie. So Don't Breathe. I thought it was going to be good. I didn't know it was going to be excellent. So definitely check out Don't Breathe.
What are we doing now?
What are we doing now?
Are we up to best movie?
We're up to our best movies of 2016.
16, which we should clarify here because I don't know if I'm actually allowed to talk. So we do 2016 as Boxing Day to Boxing Day because in Australia, big films, there will often be like a lot of big releases on Boxing Day, but you kind of can't get to the movies in those little bit of time before it's actually the next year. So
I'm rebelling against this rule.
Terry's rebelling. Am I allowed to have opinions on yours? I
Yes,
guess I am.
yeah.
Oh, good, because it's, yeah. Okay. Well, I assume.
I've got. You want to do some honourable mentions before we get to the top?
Yeah.
What do you think the top is? What are your honourable mentions?
So I've got Brooklyn. Brooklyn was a very sweet film that came out at the very start of the year. It's about Saoirse Ronan is a lady called Eilish who just sort of lives at home in Ireland and moves to Brooklyn, immigrates to Brooklyn to try and start a life, meets a nice young man, and then her sister dies and she has to go home to look to just get things in order and has to then decide whether she'll stay in Ireland or go back to Brooklyn. It kind of looks like a love triangle, but it's not really. It's a lot more profound than it looks, and it does kind of manage to do that in a very quiet and good way. It's a movie I've been thinking about for most of the year. It's not amazing or incredibly provocative or anything. It's just a solid story. It also looks quite good, quite nice textiles in there if you're a fan of nice jumpers. And yeah, it's not, it manages to just be very, very good without assaulting the senses. Yeah, it's a fun movie. Good performance by Saoirse Ronan and Jim Farrell, who played him. Donald Gleason, man of 1,000 faces. Donald Gleason, the Tony, the Italian Brooklyn boyfriend, is just a man with a terrible accent. Apart from that, yeah. So Brooklyn was a very, very strong little film that came out at the start of the year. I probably should have had this as my biggest surprise as well, because I didn't know what to expect. Operation Avalanche is an independent Canadian film that came out at the the New Zealand Film Festival, and then I think it's actually still playing in a few places in New Zealand in a very limited release. It is a found footage film about the sort of very small CIA team that fakes the moon landing. So it's a moon landing conspiracy movie that's done as a found footage film. It sort of starts out very much as a comedy that then morphs into like a proper thriller. It's got this really good chase scene, some really good moments. It's a really interesting little film. It is quite cheap, so you can kind of tell at times that stuff just has filters on it and that they've just found some suits and hair gel and things to try and make it look like the 60s. I'm kind of amazed at how authentic it does look, given how limited their budget was and the gonzo way in which it was filmed. It's such an interesting idea to do a found footage film about faking a movie, which is basically what it's about. And yeah, while still being a good sort of straddling these two genres of comedy and thriller and doing that well. Yeah, it's a really, really good little film that you should check out. So yes, Operation Avalanche. Oh, big surprise, but but also one of the best movies of the year. So do you want to talk about your runners up, and then we'll get to the bestest?
My runners up, 10 Cloverfield Lane. I think it's worth mentioning. It came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, there's a Cloverfield sequel, which was adapted from an original screenplay, and then J.J. Abrams got his hands on it, I believe, and went, "Hey, let's add on this cool ending, and we can make a part of Cloverfield." That may or not be the case, but that's how I believe it happens, whether it be true or not.
Have you heard that from somewhere, or are you just?
I think I did read that somewhere, but it's been a while, so it may not have happened exactly like that. But 10 Cloverfield Lane is a great movie. John Goodman is creepy as sin in this. And then, so you get this weird, very confined underground bunker movie where he's got these couple of people more or less trapped. And she doesn't know whether he's telling the truth about something happening up top, like a big catastrophe that's going to kill her. So she's like, is it true, or is he just nuts and keeping me prisoner? So it really, really hones in on those emotions. And then when you finally do get to see it, I've heard, I think you might feel that the ending was a bit tacked on. Was that you?
Well, it's a common. I was going to ask about this. It's a common criticism that it does feel like it could end here and then there's another 10 or 20 minutes. I didn't mind that when I saw it. I was like, it's more movie, cool. And I quite like that character that we're following, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character. Yeah. Watching it again, I haven't had a chance to see it again. I might find it more of a problem. I didn't mind it at the time, and I think you can like the movie while acknowledging that that's not ideal. It's still worth seeing.
That's the bit that really makes it a Cloverfield movie, as opposed to just being an original, confined thriller.
Yeah.
So that's the bit that makes it the Cloverfield bit, and I liked it. I liked that bit of the alien invasion chucked in there. That was pretty cool. Another movie that I think is worth mentioning is Arrival. I believe something else is going to crop up here. So I think Arrival is very good. We'll talk about that in a minute. Kubo and the Two Strings. Now, this movie is done by Laika. The stop motion animation. They've done Coraline, they did Box Trolls, they did Paranorman, and now they've done Kubo and the Two Strings. I think it was fantastic. I love the Japanese culture they got in there. The amount of work and effort they went into making this movie is astounding. And if you see the behind-the-scenes footage, it's well worth it.
There's a 16-foot high skeleton in there.
Yeah, the largest stop-motion animation they've ever made for it. So that was really, really cool. So definitely check out Kubo. And Zootopia. Zootopia was my #1 movie for the majority of the year. I absolutely adore this movie. It's on at least once a week in my house. I love it, and my son, who's 2 years old, he really enjoys it. He likes the colours and the animals and that in it. And I like that he can watch it and enjoy that. He's only 2.5, so he's not really into the story yet. He's just watching
the colours and shapes
and the animals and stuff. And I can watch it, and I get so much out of it. And there's like little bits and pieces here and there that you pick up on. It says so much about discrimination and racism, as well as look, now I'm speechless. I can't even think. Yeah, just like persecution is really good, hones in on that. It's got a great story in it, a great cast. I'm really not a fan of Bateman, Jason Bateman, but I think he really nails this Nick Wilde character here, as he did in The Gift. They're the only two movies I really like him in, are The Gift and Zootopia.
Have you seen Central Intelligence?
Yes.
Because it's quite good. He gets punched in the face. I found that very satisfying.
I like it when he gets punched in the face. Yeah. So Zootopia was my number one movie all year. I think it's fantastic.
And then it wasn't.
But then it wasn't.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't. The last movie of the year that I saw came out of nowhere, took first place. I really wasn't expecting it to be that good. Is La La Land.
Are we? Do you mind not mentioning Arrival?
You can do yours in a minute.
Okay. I thought we were going to argue about La La Land. I thought we would.
We can.
Okay. I thought we would cover this first. Let's just do La La Land.
You want to do La La Land now?
Just fucking get over it. Yeah.
Let's get over it, and then we can agree on Arrival.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to do it.
All right. La La Land. I saw it mid-December. It did come out on December 26th. I saw it beforehand at an early screening of it. It blew me away of how good it was. It's got so much joy in it. It's got these characters that I absolutely adored. I love their chemistry. It's got that old soul classic musical thrown in there. And it's got so much, and there is just so much about this that I love. The colors are in there. Everything's in there. It's visually stunning. It's gripping. And it's got such a great message for people who want to create and want to dream. And it does get the ending isn't ideal for the happy ending that you like, but it does tell you, if you are a dreamer and you want to follow your dreams, that you cannot have everything. And I think that is an important message for anyone who wants to dream, that they need to keep the feet somewhat on the ground. But I can't stop thinking about this movie. I bought the soundtrack straight away for it. I love the movie.
Is that out? Okay.
What's your problem, Tim? What is the problem?
First of all, apparently the soundtrack is available if you're someone who's, I know this came up with our friend Renee, was looking for the soundtrack. So that's news to me that it's actually available.
It's been available for a while. I think I got it straight away.
Ah, there you go. Okay.
It's at least on iTunes. I don't know about the physical copy, but you can download it on iTunes.
So, Damien Chazelle made La La Land, and his previous movie was Whiplash. Whiplash is a movie about
Cranky old man.
a cranky old man, and who pushes his protege, who is Miles Teller. Cranky old man is J.K. Simmons. He won a Best Supporting Actor, I think, in some sort of awards. Pushes and pushes and pushes Miles Teller. And then Miles Teller almost gets out of that horrible thing and kind of goes and does his own thing before he's kind of drawn back in. And it's a bit disappointing at the end. Structurally, that kind of happens in La La Land as well. We have a dreamer, a supposed dreamer. It pretends it's about dreamers. It's kind of just about jerks. A man who professes Seb, who is Ryan Gosling's character. Just for context, I saw this and raged at it, and then had to see it again to see if I was actually valid in thinking this. It's about a guy, this Seb character. He professes to be a dreamer, but his dream is he wants pure jazz. He literally says at one point, pure jazz, whatever that may be. And he's also pushing and pushing and pushing Emma Stone's character to go and do things. That's great. But he's pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's not structured well. It's got so many, like the relationship itself, if we talk about it as just a romantic film, divorced from its imagery and from its need to draw on all this nostalgic stuff and proclaim that as great. It's got all these hokey structures. There's like a weird conversation that there's this weird fight that's this big iconic moment. It hinges on the fact that neither of these characters have actually told each other what they want. Well, Seb has kind of inferred what Mia, Emma Stone's character, wants from a phone call, from what we can tell, bases his life on that, and then blames her for the way the distance in their relationship that results from that. It's this weird thing. Like, no one does that. No one doesn't, or clearly, like, so much of this movie wouldn't happen if they just talked to each other at some point. Like, the ending of the film, the big breakup at the end, is the result of he can't get to her play because he's got a photo shoot with his band that he doesn't actually like but still takes their money. Why don't you just tell someone that you can't make it to the thing beforehand so it's not this big shocking surprise? You fool! It's structured on this notion of the beats of a romantic comedy or a romantic drama without having any sense, and it does it has this weird sense of having its cake and eating it too as well. It will kind of call itself out on how nostalgic it is, but then still do that. It's empty. It's empty and hollow. It's empty and hollow and dead inside. And it looks like an old movie, and it professes that the old is good without ever really acknowledging or without paying any more than lip service to the fact that what was old was kind of revolutionary at the time and doesn't take that. I mean, the very notion of pure jazz, of a pure form, of an art form that is improvisational and inherently creative and inherently has some limitations but shouldn't be limited by those limitations. The notion of claiming pure jazz as a thing is so ridiculous and so counterintuitive, and so it looks old. The movie looks old, but it's not old. It's not what those old movies were doing. It's just drawing on these old ideas. It's just it's odd. It's an odd movie that I didn't like.
I loved it. I really did. I don't think they're jokes. I think they had to part ways so they could fill their own dreams and that. So I don't think it had anything to do with that they've gone out especially to sabotage their relationship, that they're jerks to each other and stuff like that. I think it was natural the way that it happened so they could serve themselves as what they wanted, what they've always dreamed of. So he always wanted to open his jazz shop, his jazz bar, and that. Forget the traditional bit, and then he goes off with John Legend and that.
That's critical to it, though.
It is critical to it, but it also it shows at the start, like we're well into spoiler territory here. So,
yeah.
At the start, you see Emma Stone's Mia. She's working at the Starbucks and trying to be an actress at the same time. She's struggling to do both and do either of them well. Whereas you see Gosling's, what was his name again? Seb. Seb wasn't working at anything else. He was trying to hone his craft as a musician, and that wasn't working for him either. But both of them took something from each other, and they swapped. He got into the band with John Legend. He made some money, and he was able to find his dream with that. He gave up a little bit of what he was doing and did what he didn't want to do, was join this weird jazz band which he wasn't enjoying because it wasn't the music he liked. He wasn't enjoying it, but he did it to get to the end goal. Whereas Mia, she quit her Starbucks job so she can concentrate on her one-woman show, and she succeeded. So they took something from each other so they could fulfill their dreams, and they may still love each other, and they know they can't be together because of that reason. So I'm shocked that you have such hatred towards this movie. I really am.
It professes to be about the dreamers while also disdaining the dreams of other dreamers. It's John Legend's band, which sounds amazing and is genuinely there's a critical point where Seb goes off and joins the band with this character Keith, that's run by John Legend. He hates being in that band. He is disdainful of what this band is trying to do, and he kind of expects that there'll be some sort of conclusion on this, that the film will actually state at some point, this is a different thing that other people are doing. Or maybe he'll actually come to like that, to come to realize that it's closer to what he wants to do as a jazz musician. He doesn't do that. He just he's in the band for a while, doesn't really enjoy it. Joins the band because, he overhears Mia talking to her mum about how he doesn't have a job.
It's a means to an end.
But it's not played that way. It can be. He's so. Why does it look like an old movie? Why is it playing up this old? Why is it it's claiming that old retro view has ownership on that notion of a dream? When that doesn't make any sense. Why is their dream to relive the past? How can your movie be about the dreamers when their dream has been done and is decades old? Why can't you make a new movie that looks new and feels new?
I'll tell you what.
Why are you claiming that optimism is this old... Why is it optimism is this old idea that we've lost, and but that also only belongs to the past? And the only way to be optimistic is to write a nostalgic play, which kind of looked interesting. But Mia's one concern is that her play that she writes, that seems interesting, it's about her life in Boulder City and her aunt who went away and went to Paris and things. Her concern is that it's too nostalgic, and presumably that's valid. Why? And Seb, his dream is to do pure jazz, which the movie doesn't differentiate from sort of lounge music, and that what is pure jazz? It's this old, in this movie, pure jazz means this old kind of music, sort of in a 50s West Coast sound. It's a specific type of jazz that we hear. Why is their dream so boring? Why is their dream so... The dream is just so... it's that texture of the movie is so... it's nothing new and interesting.
You can't criticize someone's dream as being boring.
Yes,
it's their dream.
But it does't just play it like that. What if someone in this movie's dream is to make a Samba Tupper's place? If someone's Van Beek, the jazz club that Ryan Gosling goes and stares at when he's moving, has been turned into a Samba Tupper's place, a place where you can go and do Samba and have tapas, which sounds quite good to me because you can do a bit of dancing and then have a little tasty thing to eat and then go dancing and you wouldn't feel too heavy. What if that's someone's dream?
Someone already got that dream.
But the
business is there.
But the movie is so disdainful of it. It's not admitted that, this is hated by Seb as having taken the history of jazz. It's taken this jazz... this club icon that I've never heard of, that is now it treats it as disdainful, as if never the twain shall meet. Never will Samba and Tupper come together. That can't be done because that's not historically the case.
But you can't tell me that there aren't people out there, traditionalists, who would have the same opinion.
So which same opinion?
That Samba and Tapas shouldn't go together. That
I'm not so. No, I'm sure they exist, but they're not lionized as the heroes of optimism. Or they're not they shouldn't be lionized as the dreamers. Or
would you like a sequel from the owner of the Samba Tapa place, and how he's criticizing traditional jazz who are stuck in a rut and not progressing.
But it's almost in the movie because the second thing is John
Legend.
Keith's. It's odd the way the movie treats this as well. Keith's The Messengers is this newer. I don't know to the extent that it is, but it's claiming to take jazz and do a very modern take on jazz with a lot of synths, more of a pop sound.
Yeah, try to get the younger crowd.
To keep jazz alive in a new way, and to keep a younger crowd. Again, Seb takes part in this, but he is disdainful of it. He's just kind of he never really treats it as a jobbing gig, which would be fine if he's like, I'm just in this to make money. I mean, he's kind of just miserable throughout this. It's so strange.
But that's so much like reality. I do a job that I'm just there to make the money. I'm disdainful of it. It's not what I want to do, but it's a means to an end.
But it's not. It's a job you go to. There's. But do you disagree? Like when you say it's disdainful, do you think it's you work at a bread factory? We may as well say this. Do you think it's the wrong kind of bread? That's the equivalent of here. It's
the wrong job for me.
It's not. No, but it doesn't say that. It's. La La Land goes further. It's such a strange movie. It does kind of.
In this scenario,
yeah.
In this scenario, you're the tapas owner.
Okay.
You're the son of a tapas owner place, and I am Seb.
Okay. So
you've progressed. You're combining these two cultures and trying to blend them together to bring something new in that.
It's good. It's good because in this case, I'm completely unaware of these jerks that I don't want to watch. Right.
But you end up closing down.
Does it close down?
He takes the same.
Does he take Van Beeks?
I'm pretty sure he takes Van Beeks.
Does he take Van Beeks or does he take the Sunshine Club?
I thought he took the.
I was trying to watch that. I was trying to pay attention to like these little details the second time I saw it, and I thought maybe he does take Van Beeks. Yeah. Maybe my Samba Club moves on to bigger and better things. My Samba Tapas place moves on, and I don't even care who took over the lease. And just people as meanwhile, while Seb is being moody on his piano, I'm off dancing and eating delicious Spanish food. Yes.
Well, just to wrap up, La La Land got 14 Oscar nominations, so you're wrong, Tim.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your top movie?
Yes, let's talk about a good movie.
It's in my honorable mentions. It's very good.
Arrival is a fantastic space movie that came out, starring Amy Adams. It's based on a Ted Chiang novel, short story, the title of which I've forgotten. Stars Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, Forrest Whitaker. Amy Adams is tasked with trying to translate the language of these aliens that have landed. And it's from there it goes in some really fascinating directions. I've been trying to think of a science fiction movie this profound that's also this accessible, and I cannot think of one. It's easier to watch than Space Odyssey and just as interesting, and that's probably the big unattainably great science fiction movie of all time. And to my mind, it's easy to watch and just as mind-bending. Performances are good, mostly from Adams. Everyone else is good as well. It looks really good. There's some very strong design. The cinematographer, whose name has also escaped me, will be worked on Selma, the Ava DuVernay movie Selma about MLK, and will be working on the Han Solo movie. So I'm expecting that to look really, really good. Yeah, it's been like a lot of people have called it out as the space movie that isn't. It's the antithesis of Independence Day Resurgence, a dumb movie that I think we both enjoyed, even though it was awful. And it is that, like at this time of big superhero movies, it's a quiet thinker. But it is so much more than that. It is a really, really fascinating and good science fictional movie. Bradford Young is the cinematographer.
And got nominated.
Oh, good for him. His cinematography at the Oscars. Well, that's good. Okay. Cool.
Who's he up against? La La Land, Lion,
something.
Moonlight, in silence.
Okay. Yes, Arrival is fantastic. What did you think of Arrival? Did you say before? I don't remember.
No, I was waiting for now. I loved Arrival. It blew me away. It probably should have been in my biggest surprises. It looked really, really good. It looked very interesting. I loved the design of the heptapods.
The heptapods are
I
cool.
thought they were really, really cool, and I thought it was an interesting way to approach trying to communicate with an alien language. I thought that was very well done, and I love it had such a time bendy thing because there was bits in it where I was watching it going, is this happening? Did I miss something? Did I have a micro sleep and miss it? And then it all joined up at the end and went, okay, it's all joined together. I realized what was happening. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I love the twist in it. I love the plots in it. I love the design of the heptapods. Amy Adams, I reckon, should have got a nomination for.
Did she not?
She did not, but Meryl Streep did for Florence Jenkins.
Oh well.
That was terrible.
Do you not like? You've talked about this a bit. Do you not like Florence Foster Jenkins the movie just because it's not as good as the other one?
Marguerite.
Yeah.
No, I don't like it because the other one is better. I saw there's the French version called Marguerite. It's not as tied to her life. It's loosely based on the life of Florence Foster Jenkins. So the French one with I think it's Catherine Frott was very good. It had like this black humor to it, and the Meryl Streep one it was very Hollywood, and it didn't have the same. It didn't grab me the same way. When you put Simon Helberg and Hugh Grant in a movie, it loses something. And then Meryl Streep's there trying to do her best bad singing. But even through her bad singing, you can hear she's a good singer. You could hear she gets some of those notes, and you can just hear that it could be beautiful if she was trying to.
Meryl Streep was streeping it up.
Yeah. So I thought it was just a very mediocre movie. But Marguerite was absolutely floored me. It was hilarious in that darker way, though. But back to Arrival. Yes, Arrival is fantastic. I put it as, I think, number 4 of the year.
So behind
me.
Okay.
Mainly because Zootopia and Kubo were kind of tied second place. I couldn't really put one above the other, but yeah, you like Kubo.
It was a hard movie to say I didn't like because it looks amazing, but I found the story a bit lacking. It was not a fun review to write because it does look amazing, but the story is just a little weak, and some of the characters are a little weak. I thought it's still like just for the way it looks alone, it's worth seeing. I didn't find it that great though. In overall, in the way that I found of Lakers films, I think Paranorman has been my favorite, and it just doesn't reach that.
I love Box Trolls.
Peak. Really?
I love Box Trolls. I thought it was very good.
I thought it was fun. It
was very fun.
It just wasn't. It didn't reach that same level as Paranorman to me.
I'm surprised you haven't mentioned a certain Star Wars movie.
Yeah, it's. Last year I did best movie that wasn't Star Wars and best Star Wars movie. It's been less relevant to do that this time because Rogue One is good, but it's kind of just a movie. It didn't grab me to the extent that some of the other franchise films did this year. It's good. It's just not that much to write home about. It's interesting in the context of Star Wars, I think, to see where Star Wars will go now and can go now cinematically, but yeah, it's good. It's good. Well, it's okay, but it's not the most astounding film I've ever seen.
All right then.
Okay.
Is that 2016 wrapped?
Yeah.
Wrapped and done.
We're going to talk about what we're looking forward to.
Oh, I forgot about that. 2017. So 2016 is wrapped and done.
Yes.
2017.
Let's move forward from the bullcrap year.
Let's hear some of your films that you're keen for.
Okay, so unsurprisingly, Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, as we know it's now called. It's just more of Episode 7, which I really liked. It'll be interesting to see the direction that goes. And Ryan Johnson is directing, who I think I've only seen Looper of his films. I need to check out Brick at some point in my life. I haven't got around to that. So I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be fantastic. Another year of looking for tidbits. Woo! In addition to that, Luc Besson, the French director who brought us The Fifth Element, and more recently Lucy, I also believe Leon the Professional, and Taxi, I think he made those, is bringing out Valerian, the movie that effects have finally caught up on. It's based on an iconic French comic. I don't know that much about a guy called Valerian, who's like a space cop, played by Dane DeHaan. Clive Owen's in it, Cara Delevingne, who will hopefully be doing some Suicide Squad type dancing, is also in it. It's going to be a big, wacky science fiction adventure film. It'll be huge. If you like The Fifth Element, it seems like it's going to be that, but more. I love that movie, so yeah, I'm excited for Valerian. On TV, well, on the internet rather than at the movies, Sense8 is coming back. In, I want to say May. I want to say it's in May, April, May. There was a Christmas special, which was fantastic. I'm really excited about this show because it's amazing and startling, and it's an optimistic show. It's optimistic without being saccharine, and in a very shocking, well, yes, startling and shocking at times, I guess, yeah, depending on who you are and what you are used to seeing in TV. Piece of TV, and I think it's a fantastic project from the Wachowskis and J. Michael Straczynski, who I both quite like. So I'm, yeah, really excited to see more of that. It's really, really challenging, and it's really, really good. Yes, more Sense8. What are you excited for this year?
Apes.
Oh god, more
There's
apes.
so much apes. We have War for the Planet of the Apes, which is my top movie. I'm looking forward to that like no shit. Then we've got King Kong. Oh, more apes, and there's a little bit of Godzilla in the trailers there. Like there's the big.
Is there now?
Well, you don't see him, but they refer to like the big nuclear test that they do.
Okay.
So I wasn't a big fan of Gareth Edwards' Godzilla film, but I might get on board if King Kong can kick his ass for a bit, or at least slap the boring out of Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Oh, is Aaron Taylor Johnson for Nocturnal Animals? Was
He
a
is
really
nominated.
good film. Yes, good, because he was amazing in
Yes,
Nocturnal
he is
Animals.
nominated. So yes, we've got Apes. They're my top two movies to see this year: War for the Planet of the Apes and King Kong, or Kong Skull Island, as it's called. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore James Gunn's first one, so I'm really looking forward to him getting back into this and seeing what he brings. I love the trailers for it. Wonder Woman. This is my last shot for DC. If they fuck this up, if they stuff this up, I am not seeing Justice League. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Wonder Woman looks really good. It feels like Captain America, First Avenger, the first one. Like it's set in the 40s as well and stuff.
Well, it's set in the First World War.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So set in the First World War. So I'm hoping it's got that flavor to it. I'm hoping for a bit of Captain America flavor in this Wonder Woman movie. I'm really looking forward to it. But I was looking forward to Suicide Squad as well.
I think of the DC films, the only superhero movie I think I'm looking forward to this year so far. I'll probably go see them, but I'm just kind of like, there. The Lego Batman.
Oh.
Thor.
I thought you might have said Thor.
Lego Batman looks like I saw trailers for it when I saw Monster Trucks, which was not good. Lego Batman looks like the best take on Batman in a long, long time because he looks like he's going to be kind of pathetic and a bit lonely, and he wants friends. And to me, that's a much more. Oh,
George Clooney's Batman.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant actual George Clooney. I think it'll be interesting to see that take on him rather than the gritty neo-fascist that we've kind of seen recently. Yeah, I'm expecting that to be a lot more interesting and fun than anything else that's coming out superhero-wise.
Oh,
Wonder Woman looks good.
Logan looks very good. Did you watch the new trailer?
Yeah, I have. I've been less excited for Logan than other people, mostly because I watched the trailer and and people were like, "That's an amazing trailer," and I thought, "That's actually just they've picked an amazing Johnny Cash cover to put on it. It's not that good itself. They've just picked a really good film."
You see what came out this week?
Yeah, I did. It's still.
They say fuck twice.
I didn't actually see that one. I didn't see the Red Band because I was looking at it. I knew Patrick Stewart got his swears on.
He did.
And
it's kind of jarring.
Yeah.
You don't expect Xavier to say fuck.
I've seen Captain Picard say that at times in his life. It does look like one of those superhero. The issue with Logan is, I guess, the key issue of superhero fatigue isn't so much what the movies look like or seem like, it's how they relate to all the other movies. Because when the trailer for Logan came out, I was like, yes, this song looks good. It's a smaller superhero movie. It's about a man who's things are bad. You can tell because he's growing a beard, and it's just going to be this one guy protecting a girl. It's not going to be Age of Ultron with its 8 trillion plots and giant fights. It's going to be like a smaller film just about a guy who has to save a kid, and Patrick Stewart can't walk, so there's tension there. But then you kind of think, well, okay, which of the X-Men timelines is this in? Is it in the same as the other Wolverine movies, or is it in the new timeline with all the 80s nonsense? Okay, so first you've got to go look that up, which I kind of refused to do for a while, and then got around to the other day because I heard stuff, but I wanted to look it up definitively. And as it turns out, it's the end of it's in the 80s timeline, and it's presumably in the future of that. So
that's in the future of the new timeline.
So does that do we now know what happens at the end of that timeline? Like, does this now, because all the other mutants are dead or gone or something, aren't they? Or they're just not there. There's not like X-Men in this. There's just
X-Men.
Yeah, there's Wolverine and Patrick Stewart is kept in a shed or something. Is that now how we know that series is going to end? So it's the
timelines are funky.
Yeah, but I don't want them to be. I just want to know. I don't want to have to go and look that up. Like what? I don't want to keep track of multiple timelines. I've watched enough Doctor Who in my time to not want to do that with my life anymore.
All right. Either way, I'm looking forward to seeing Logan, especially after the new Red Band trailer.
Yeah,
it gets quite bloody and quite gritty. And I like that.
I suspect it'll actually be a good movie, but I'm just worried I'll be sitting there with one half of my brain going, well, what does that have to do with that? And I shouldn't have to do that. So I guess, is that it for what we're excited about?
I'd like to mention one more.
Yes, but I've been mentioning a thing.
It could go either way. The Mummy. Tom Cruise in the new Mummy reboot for Universal Monsters. It could go either way. It could be absolutely crap, or it could be really, really good and a great kickstart in the ass for the new Monsters universe, which Universal are trying to kick off. Yeah, I like the trailer. It looks a bit silly, but I liked Dracula Untold as well. So maybe you don't want to take my opinion on this at all.
Oh, Alex Kurtzman.
Alex Kurtzman, he did direct it, yeah.
Oh, I don't like Alex Kurtzman.
I'm pretty sure he's the head runner for the whole thing. Yeah, so we've got Tom Cruise in there. We've got Rusty. Rusty's going to turn up to be Jekyll Hyde. They've got some really big names coming up, like for this Monsters universe, and I really hope they knock it out of the park and actually do it quite well. Yeah, so in direction, we've got Alex Kurtzman, who is from Kurtzman and Orsi, who wrote a bunch of stuff and have now split up. That's not too exciting. The written by included Christopher McQuarrie, who has been involved in most of the good Tom Cruise movies that have come out in the last while. He was involved in Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. I think he was director. He was either director or writer. Mission Impossible 5 and the first Jack Reacher. So the more critically acclaimed, and I think Valkyrie as well, the more critically acclaimed and good Tom Cruise movies of late have involved Christopher McQuarrie. So that's kind of promising to me. Other than that, I'm not too excited, I think. What I am excited about as well in the future is just being surprised. I'm hoping for indie movies that I haven't had a lot of press just
Yeah.
yet. Just little things that'll be interesting. I'm expecting some exciting, fun stuff at the New Zealand Film Festival again. Yeah, I'm just hoping that the things I'll love about this year I don't even know about yet, because that's kind of how it's happened.
Yeah, it's how it usually happens. We usually get these small ones that
Yeah.
are playing at the festivals and stuff. Like Sundance is on at the moment, so
Yeah.
we'll get them later on in the year. And yeah, some really cool stuff that
Yeah.
will usually appear out of nowhere.
Because I didn't know about Operation Avalanche till it was on at the film festival, and Arrival we didn't really get press on until not long before
Yeah,
it was
it wasn't too long.
released. So for us, we don't really comb the Hollywood Reporter looking for what is and isn't in production. All right,
That's it.
all right? Okay, so if you want to find our main blog, we're at sfdfmoviereviews.tumblr.com. We're on Facebook at facebook.com/sfdf. We're on Twitter at sfdfmoviereviews. If you just want to listen to the podcast, you can find us at soundcloud.com/sfdf or wherever good SoundClouds are found. That's also on iTunes. Just search SFDF on iTunes. If you want to email us, you can get to us at inspacenooncan'teaticecream@gmail.com. And if you want to find links to all these things, as well as lots of other good stuff, you can find them down the right side of the main blog, which again is sfdfmoviereviews.tumblr.com. All right. I guess that's it from us for the moment. Signing off on 2016.
Goodbye, 2016.
Yeah, say goodbye, Terry.
Goodbye, 2016. Terry.
Good riddance, 2016. So we'll see you hopefully in the new year talking about Australian films. Okay, bye.
Bye.